How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Brad, the DC Universe Geek. So, the year 2021, we can all agree it was a big year for action figures, right? Especially for DC action figures. Usually around this time, I would be producing some sort of top 10 video for the year. These are my top 10 favorite DC Comics action figures. The problem with that is I really enjoyed so many selections that came out this year that even having this brought down to my favorite 20 was incredibly difficult. So, this list is going to have MAFEX, MEZCO, it's going to have McFarlane Toys, Storm Collectibles, and all these figures are going to be in no particular order. It's just going to be 20 figures that were my favorite for the year. So why don't we start with McFarlane Toys? And in no particular order, the first of which I want to mention is the Batman Year 2 figure. That is a fantastic rendition of the character. Not perfect, the top of the boots aren't right, but in general, they got the color scheme right, they got the sculpt right. It's a fantastic looking Batman from that era. And then we also got that Rebirth Superman, a fantastic rendition of that era. Again, the boots aren't correct. The boots at the top, they're sculpted one way and they're painted another. So if you overlook that, what you have is a fantastically muscular, big, beefy Superman figure that you can leave as is, or you can choose to use to customize to make a classic Superman that is bigger and beefier. But also Lobo. I think the Lobo was a fantastic McFarlane Toys DC figure. The green power-suited Lex Luthor, I was really stoked when they revealed him, and even more stoked to review him, as well as Superboy Prime. I think that he was really great. And if I had to pick just one figure from the Batman 3 Jokers wave, we'd be looking at, I still waffle. I want to say Batman, then I want to say Red Hood, then I want to say the Clown Joker. But if I had to pick one figure from that entire wave to pick up, of course it would be Batman. He's the main character. And I think it's a fantastic rendition of Batman from that storyline. But that was an entirely awesome wave of figures as well. And then finally we got 2 Green Lantern figures. Now I'm going to kind of count this as one because it's all the exact same body buck. They have different head sculpts. But first we received John Stewart. He was single carded, and then we received Hal Jordan, and he was part of a 2-pack. He came packaged alongside the Dawnbreaker. And so, for me, I see this as a fantastic way of giving fans of both Green Lanterns something that they wanted. And then moving on to MAFEX. And they had a stellar DC year. They don't release a high volume of characters, but what they do release, I'm always very excited to get out of the box and fiddle with. This year, they released just recently their Hush Joker, their Hush Thomas Elliot. This year we also got the Superman and the black and gray Batman variant and the Catwoman, all Hush figures. And those are some of my favorite figures of the year. The articulation, the look of the figures, the size, I think that they're perfect. I think that MAFEX is just killing it with their very limited portion of the DC license. But it wasn't just the Hush figures that MAFEX released that were awesome this year. They also released an animated Batman figure based on the new Batman Adventures, and also the Dark Knight Returns, like, beat up Batman, you know? The Batman who has just been in the mud with the mutant leader. Yeah, they released him as well. Damn, they did a good job on that one. And what about MEZCO 1/12? Well, they didn't release a whole lot of figures this year, truth be told. But out of all the figures that they did release, my favorites were, and I will just start off by saying the Christopher Reeve Superman was not one of them. He's a great figure, but there were figures that I was more impressed. I have to separate myself from the whole, but it's Superman and the nostalgia of it, and say which figures did I like better? And so I would say the Dr. Fate was one of the best of the year. That Dr. Fate figure was just sick. And then the Wonder Woman in her more sort of modern battle uniform, I really loved that Wonder Woman. And she came with the 2 heads, right? So you can put one of the heads on the body. And then I actually swapped the other one onto the previous Wonder Woman figure that came out. So now I have 2 different Wonder Woman figures with a more modern head sculpt. So I really enjoyed that figure. But then there was also the and what is it called? The Gotham by Gaslight Joker. I was gonna call it Steampunk Joker, but the Gotham by Gaslight Joker. I think they did a fantastic job with designing that Joker and creating the accessories. He was a real joy to review, and I think for a character that we don't see really much of in the comics. Sorry about that. Must be dusty down here. They really did a fantastic job of bringing him to light. And then finally for me, I'd have to say it's the Jester suit Harley Quinn. I like Harley Quinn. A lot of people think that Harley Quinn is too overdone, and I'm not at that point yet. The more Harley Quinn that I can get, the better, because I think she's a fantastic character that is developing awesomely in the comic books. I never get bored of Harley Quinn at this point, so the Jester suit, the classic Jester suit Harley, to pose alongside my classic Joker, that was a no-brainer for me. And then finally we move on to Storm Collectibles. I'm not exactly sure if all these figures came out in 2021, but I know I reviewed them in 2021, so I'm going to put them all on the list anyway. And that would be the Storm Collectibles Injustice Ares, who was just fantastic, blew me away. That figure blew me away. Fantastically sculpted, looks awesome, looks epic on your shelf. And then also the Darkseid. Darkseid, I mean, for one, I'm always excited to get more Darkseid figures. There's a few I'm still clamoring to get my hands on playing catch-up, but this version of Darkseid, who looks like he does in the game, is amazing. He stands big and tall. He's foreboding. So anyway, super friends, that was my list of my favorite DC figures for 2021. Out of all the different figures that were released, that was as small as I could make that list. I couldn't bring it down to 10. And like I said, they're really in no particular order. If I had to pick just one, I would say my favorite of the year for all of them, my must-have, would be the black and gray Hush Batman. But really, even that's a far stretch, because everything on this list is so fantastic. But anyway, I gotta go. That's all I got time for today. I gotta chop this up, edit it together over there at my computer. So I'm gonna leave it here. And if I don't upload another video again before the new year, I would say, hope you have a happy new year this year. Try to be with the people you love. Stay safe, and I will see you in the new year, 2022. Bye for now.